Welcome to Tales by Tyrell, where timeless stories come alive. Today we step into a magical forest where love gets tangled, fairies play tricks, and dreams and reality dance together. This is Shakespeare's enchanting comedy, A Midsummer Night's Dream. But before we begin, let's meet the characters so you'll enjoy the story without confusion. Theseus, the Duke of Athens, about to marry Hippolyta. Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons, soon to be Theseus' wife. Aegeus, a strict father who wants his daughter to marry the man he chooses. Hermia, Aegeus' brave daughter, deeply in love with Lysander. Lysander, Hermia's true love, ready to fight for her. Demetrius, the man Aegeus wants Hermia to marry. Helena, Hermia's best friend, hopelessly in love with Demetrius. Oberon, king of the fairies, powerful but mischievous. Titania, queen of the fairies, strong and proud. Puck, Oberon's playful servant, a troublemaker with magic. Nick Bottom, a weaver and amateur actor, full of confidence and comedy. Now that we know who's who, let's dive into the story. It was a warm summer evening in the grand city of Athens. The streets were filled with excitement as Duke Theseus prepared to wed Hippolyta, the proud queen of the Amazons. But in the midst of this joy came trouble. Aegeus, a stern father, marched into the duke's court with his daughter Hermia. His voice was sharp with anger as he complained that Hermia refused to marry Demetrius, the man he had chosen. Hermia's heart belonged to Lysander, and she stood boldly beside him, unwilling to betray her love. Yet the law of Athens was cruel. A daughter must obey her father, or face death, or a life locked away as a nun. The Duke gave Hermia time to decide. That night, Hermia and Lysander whispered a daring plan. They would run away into the forest, far from Athens, and marry in secret. When Hermia told her best friend Helena, she thought she could trust her. But Helena was in love with Demetrius, even though he loved Hermia. Hoping to win his favor, Helena revealed their secret to him. Demetrius rushed into the forest after Hermia and Lysander, and Helena followed him, desperate for his love. None of them knew the forest was home to the fairy kingdom, ruled by Oberon and Titania. But peace did not dwell there. The king and queen were locked in a fierce quarrel over a young boy Titania had taken in. Their anger had thrown nature into chaos. Determined to teach Titania a lesson, Oberon ordered his mischievous servant Puck to fetch a magical flower. Its juice dropped on sleeping eyes would make a person fall in love with the first thing they saw. As Oberon planned his trick on Titania, he overheard Helena pleading to Demetrius in the forest. The king felt pity and told Puck to use the flower on the Athenian man so he'd love Helena. But Puck made a mistake. He found Lysander asleep and touched his eyes instead. When Lysander awoke, the first person he saw was Helena, and suddenly his love for Hermia vanished. He adored Helena instead. Helena thought he was mocking her. Matters grew worse when Puck enchanted Demetrius too. Now both men were chasing Helena, and poor Hermia was left heartbroken. The two women quarreled, the men prepared to fight, and the once quiet forest rang with anger and confusion. Meanwhile, in another part of the woods, a group of simple craftsmen rehearsed a play for the Duke's wedding. Among them was Nick Bottom, whose confidence in his acting was far greater than his talent. Puck, always ready for mischief, gave Bottom the head of a donkey. It was then that Titania, lying asleep nearby, was touched with the magic flower by Oberon. She awoke, saw the donkey-headed Bottom, and fell hopelessly in love. She crowned him with flowers and ordered her fairies to serve him. Oberon's plan had worked. While Titania was distracted, he took the boy. But seeing her so lost in the strange spell, his heart softened. He freed her from the enchantment, and Titania awoke, all horrified at her odd affection. Oberon then commanded Puck to fix the lovers' mess. Puck lured them through the forest until they collapsed in exhaustion. He placed the antidote on Lysander's eyes, restoring his true love for Hermia. Demetrius, still under the spell, remained devoted to Helena, but now his love was kind and genuine. At dawn, Theseus and Hippolyta entered the forest and found the four lovers sleeping peacefully. When they awoke, the quarrels were gone. The Duke, moved by their happiness, allowed them to marry as their hearts desired. Hermia with Lysander and Helena with Demetrius. That night, Athens was filled with music, laughter, and light. The Duke and Hippolyta were wed, as were the two young couples. Even the craftsmen performed their clumsy play, making everyone smile. And somewhere in the forest, Puck whispered to the audience, "If all this seemed strange, think of it as nothing more than a dream." Thus ended a night of magic, mistakes, and love, proving that even in the wildest confusion, love can still find its way. Thank you for joining us in this magical journey through A Midsummer's Night's Dream. If you enjoyed this storytelling, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Tales by Tyrell. Until next time, may your dreams be filled with wonder.